Whenever you're ready, Jay.
Hey?
We on. Whenever you're ready.
Good evening and welcome to round 9, the penultimate round of season 3 here in TnB Racing. We find ourselves at Silverstone today. Got a layout of 5.8 kilometers. Makes it one of the longest tracks on the calendar. It's also one of the fastest. I've got my co-commentator with me today in the commentary box, Wazzy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, and yourself, Jonathan? Really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to it.
Happy to be in Silverstone.
Yes, home of the British Grand Prix. Quite a historic track.
Track with a rich history. Was originally an airfield, surprisingly, for World War II.
Correct.
Which also explains its lack of elevation.
True indeed.
Almost no elevation on this circuit.
Gets quite affected by wind direction and wind speed as well. Oh dear, looks like we lost Gavin momentarily. Hopefully he can make his way back. So, everybody on the outlaps, preparing their tyres. Maybe a good time to run through the championship, Jonathan. So
Looking at the championship, we've got the leader, for RZDV 2000. He's on 123 points. He's got quite a lead.
Yeah,
in second place, well, I've got him locked away here in the commentary box. He decided to let this championship go. So we'll skip to third, which is Nismax. He's on 99 points. So it's a difference of 24 points there. Needs a good result in this race. But he's got a quali ban, doesn't he?
Yeah, him and the
so does his championship contender.
Yeah, they've been banned from Quali 3, as this is a full qualifying session, so Quali 3, they're not allowed to go out of the pits. So the best technical position they can qualify in is P9.
Yeah, P9 and P10. So they're going to have to be making their way up the field, but crucially, starting in P9 and P10, they don't get tyre choice.
Yeah.
Or do they? No, they don't.
No, they don't.
You start on the tyre that you qualified in Q2.
Definitely. Well, speaking about pit stops, what do you reckon, Jonathan? I think a 2-stop should be the quickest round, yeah? One stop
possible. I think a 2-stop would be the quickest, but if you've got consistent pace, I think you could do a 1-stop.
Yeah, I think it will be a tad too slow.
It would be slow and it would involve a lot of management.
The 3-stop even is an option if you've got some pace to burn. It will come close to the 2-stop as well, and obviously you'll have.
We're getting a few lap times through now, and actually one of our debutants tonight joining us, DNA Joe.
Joshua.
Sets a 127.9, dips into the 127s immediately, and
oh, that's solid pace.
Showing that he's here.
Definitely not sandbagging in the first qualifying. Got a feeling he's got body mode engaged there in that Ferrari. See Nismax.
Yeah, definitely making an introduction in the best possible way. Doing it on the track.
Yeah. We've got Dirk going through the first sector, yeah. We'll just keep an eye on him. Coming through Cops Corner. Looks like he got a good line through there.
Got another debutant in the league tonight. But yes. Little piece.
Indeed.
Actually a Portuguese driver.
Yes.
And he'll be in the Renault. Number 22.
He's currently on an out lap. Let's just have a look what tires the guys are using. Looks like everybody's on the super softs. Interesting. Oh, Nismax crossed the line, a 1:29.6, which is solid pace. Still a bit off Joshua.
Little piece now going over the line to start his fast lap. First fast lap. Interesting to see his pace.
Let's have a look.
Seems like he might be coming up behind a few cars there.
Some traffic, yeah.
Luckily this one is ghosting. Hopefully he sees that.
Yeah, it does.
No issues there. Next part of the lap is critical. These S's in sector 2, if you don't get them right,
Yeah, the maggots and
you can't
Beckett
save it in
section,
the rest of the lap.
very important to get a good lap time. You can either gain, but you can lose just as much. Coming through the hanger straight, DRS wide open. Keeps it clean, looks solid, looks like a solid lap so far.
Nice and clean. Into the last corner. And over the line, that's a nice time. That's 4th place for now.
Yes.
1:30 flat. Nicely done.
Of course, not being a full grid tonight, Jonathan. Obviously from Q1 to Q2, the first 15 goes through, so obviously we shouldn't lose anybody. But from Q2 onwards,
it's basically a pre-qualifying session. We do also have Park Fermé rules off, so we can also use this. Maybe just to, if they're not 100% sure on a wing, they can tweak the setup up and down a little bit before going into Q2.
yeah, I think that's why Charlie didn't give Robbie and Nismax a full qualifying ban. It's a bit harsh seeing if they're not sure about car setup and settings. So instead of just banning them completely, they got a chance to get their eye in there.
The difficult track was to get the right setup.
Just going on board here with TnB DW. Of course, on the new rig, he's got himself a G29, showing some good pace on it, some good improvements in the space of a week.
That's right. This is actually his debut on the wheel.
Yeah.
So in TnB.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. Also in the Renault, of course, with that aggressive looking helmet of his. Going through left field there, into the old pit straight. Oh.
I promise you, I've had a race where I've almost gone in those pits.
Yeah.
It was just one of those. I wanted the lap to end that badly. Going through the S's now.
Yeah, I can tell you're an old gamer then, Jonathan, because I've also, played mostly old games with the old track layout. And sometimes, yeah.
My first F1 game came in '92. So yeah.
Yeah.
I've been hooked on it ever since.
We're giving out age here a little bit, Jonathan, but we'll keep that under wraps.
No need to keep it under wraps.
So
if I was any younger, I would have missed F1 in the '90s.
Yeah, it was a great time period watching F1 growing up, watching the 80s.
Well, the vet did go over the line, and he did set the time. He went 5th with a 1:30.1. So the times between 2nd and 7th really pretty close.
Yeah.
It's just that that new debutant of ours in first place, he's got quite a lead. Should
No,
be interesting
he's...
going into Q3 when the guys switch it on. Or do they have anything left?
Yeah, no, I think most of the guys will be, just feeling their way around still. Not turning up the engine to full power yet. But knowing Josh,
Another
the
thing our
few
debutants
races...
need to remember is that we race 100% distance at TnB, and I can tell you from personal experience that second
Yeah.
half of the race can get testing.
Yes, indeed, Jonathan. It's like a whole different ball game. Well, it's a whole complete new game doing the 100%. So we've got everybody in the pits. We've got Fossey. Oh dear, it looks like he's a bit out of fuel there. It can be a very long lap if you've got no juice in the car, Jonathan.
Absolutely, it's one of the longest tracks on the calendar. And another thing to remember about Silverstone is that the pit lane has a limit of 60 instead of 80.
Yeah.
And it's in fact one of the longest pit lanes in F1. It takes about something like 35 seconds to get in and out. So
Yeah. Not only just that, it's the
pit
actual
stops make a difference
entrance.
here.
The entrance
Oh,
as
yes,
well is
definitely.
quite tricky to get spot on, eh? It's easy to get a penalty down there.
Also interesting with 2 rounds to go, we've got Constructors' Championship is still open. So it's getting pretty tight. It's Red Bull's running away with it. They've got 18 points lead, but Mercedes is there, and but they're going to need a good result from both drivers.
Definitely, yeah. Just having a look at Steffi on the first lap, doing well in the Williams. Also not far off the pace. Oof, it's a little bit
Fantastic
of
to see a Williams up the order. Goes over the, going over the line now to start it fast lap. The other guys just sitting in the pits, obviously happy with their times.
yeah.
No need to waste any tyres.
Yeah, the way you use the tires in a full qualifying session is also quite important. You do in Q1 with a soft set and keep them up until Q3 and use them as your banker run as well. So yeah, a lot to think about. It's not just going out on track and blasting out the time.
Absolutely, and over a long race distance you also need to remember setting up the car, qualifying and setting up the car to complete 100 race distance. It's a different thing. You know, you need to obviously remember that race distance when setting up your car.
Definitely.
And something that you can drive over that distance.
Indeed, Jonathan.
Just watching Staffy there, he lost it on his fast lap and decided to retire.
Yep.
Just not getting the traction he wanted and getting a bit of grass. Not much you could do about that.
Interesting, Josh going out for another run.
Hang out for another run. Just see if he can improve on that 127.9. I think everyone else in the pack is hoping that he doesn't.
Little piece also up to P2 at 29.4, which is a solid lap.
We have the 2 debutants currently in first and second. Good showing for them.
Yeah.
We've got Robbie and Nizmax in third and fourth. Both of them getting that quali ban in Q3, so good to see they're quick, but they're going to have to come through the field. It's going to make for interesting racing.
Definitely. It's not the easiest track to pass on.
No, absolutely not one of the easiest tracks to pass on, and that's because it's so fast. cars actually do an average speed around here of 220 k's an hour, which is quite insane. So going into the race, we'll be looking at a 72 laps, if I'm not mistaken. No, I am mistaken, that's wrong. It's a long track, it's much shorter than that. Mornay also just retiring from the session. Seems like the guys are happy with their times. It is a free quali session, obviously. Nobody gets eliminated from Q3. We've only got 15 drivers in our lineup. But as it sits now, two debutants still in the lead with first and second. Got Robbie in third, Liz Max in fourth. Gavin with a good time, he's got a 1:30.1, he's in fifth, and that was set on the soft tyre. So very good time. We've got the DW, he's in sixth. Debut on the wheel, so good time there. Captain Ice not far behind, seventh place. And then Dead Seeker and Mornay in 8th and 9th, they've both retired, happy with their times. And the judge makes a top 10. I'd say we've got a close top 10, but more between 2nd and 10th.
Yeah, sorry Jonathan, I had a little bit of a technical issue. He's 3 years old and he's blonde.
No, not a problem. It's like most technical issues, we have no control over them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think I've got that sorted now. I was just looking for a snack.
So I was just, while you were gone, I was just going through the top 10, making note that the top 10 are all pretty close in this session. Well, if you exclude first place, who just went faster, a 1:27.5. So, well,
yeah, that's spice.
Impressive.
I'm just hoping he's not burning up all his tires in Q1.
Well, I'm assuming he's well aware that we do full qualifying.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Seems like the session has come to an end. Just got a few guys left on track. Actually, the only one left on track is Mismaps.
Yeah, I'm just joining him now on board, going through maggots and beckets. A very smooth driving style he's got.
Just watching Timbo go around trying to improve his time. He's currently in 12th, but he's running a lot of fuel, so interesting.
I think he's just winning his way around still.
Also one of the newer men in our league, sitting in 13th at the moment. We've got Jean. He's got a 1:32.2. I noticed he was battling in the beginning of the session, so he did manage to get a decent lap time down before the end of the session. He was running in the 1:37s in the beginning.
Yeah, low 30.
He's got Timbo having some fun. I think I realise now why he had so much fuel. I'm sure if you tune into Timbo, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's Timbo.
Having a grand old time in the stadium section.
Obviously, still doing it on the gravel there, so it doesn't mess up the tires too badly. I think the tire cleaner is going to have a fun time getting all that off there. obviously not happy with Claire Williams. Maybe a contract dispute? I don't know.
Well, as it stands in Q1, obviously everyone will go through. And Davidson's obviously went through on pole. The 127.5. Really good lap time.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting actually to go forward and see if he can actually improve on that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they use to qualifying Q2, because that's obviously the tire they'll start the race on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Q2 is where it gets a little bit more interesting. You have to start thinking about the race, and you have to think about what tire you're going to use, how many hot laps you're going to put in, because that could affect your tire life in the race. So Q2, very important, and obviously we're going to lose 5 drivers at the end of this.
Yeah, the front left tire does take a pounding around this track.
Just looking at the championship standings, I thought I'd give a shout out to myself. I've actually got 7 points. I found myself of all that.
Well done.
I'd love to know how I got those 7 points, because I don't seem to remember. Anyway, here we go with Q2. The engines fire up, and who will be the first man out on track? Looks like it's going to be a Merc. Seems like Monet is retired from the session immediately, so maybe having a technical issue of his own.
Yeah.
Guys now making their way out to track. A few cars have left the pit lane. Everyone eager to get that first lap in.
Let's have a look what tires they're on. Everybody on the super softs except John, who's on the soft. That's interesting to see.
Looking forward to next week. We also have quite a finale coming your way. We're going to be having a finale in Monaco, of all places.
Indeed,
and it's going to be at night.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite an interesting race, Monaco at night. With 100% distance, we'll just hope the clouds stay away.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Jonathan, if it starts raining, it might just give you a little bit of a bad memory, flashback.
Well, yeah, I'm actually currently looking at the pit lane, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have seen a few spots of rain. Just flashing across my screen briefly. I wonder if the rain is going to come into effect in Q3.
The other important thing to notice as well is there's only 13 drivers, so we lost 2.
Yeah, it seems like we lost 2 at the end of that session.
Yeah, sometimes the game does that. You never know how many.
I did mention, I think I mentioned it last week, that in qualifying, that we would have to wait and see. Because I have also been in unpredictable scenarios.
Got some inside information, yeah, that it might be raining at the start of the race. So
raining at the start of the race.
The entire choice won't be important, and as you say, Jonathan, I saw a speck of rain, and I can see some rain falling now. So the guys charging on the outlap.
Important, and that also falls into the 2 drivers who have a quali ban. It also falls into their hands quite nicely.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's one problem they don't have to deal with. 10 runners, which means we'll probably lose 3 at the end of the session.
Yeah.
But who knows? Let's hope for a top 10.
You see Nismex going around quickly to try to get this lap started so it doesn't get affected too much by the rain. You can see he's struggling for traction already, slightly. It's oversteering a tiny bit.
No lap time set as of yet. But everyone is out on track and everyone is setting a lap. So those timing sheets will fill up shortly. And then we'll have more to talk about.
Oh, Robbie goes through on a 130.6.
Nicely done for a first lap.
Got
DW goes faster, half a second faster in fact. That's a 130.1. Nicely done. You'll be happy with that lap.
Gavin into the 29s.
That's right, Gavin goes up into the 129s. And he doesn't just scrape into them, he goes well into them. That's a 129.6.
Yeah.
I think you'll be happy with that lap time.
The man from Ghana.
And with his teammates having a quali ban, could land up as a good position for him, but I definitely just saw rain there.
Yeah.
On one of the camera angles, there was definitely rain.
If you go on board,
and I wonder how long it will take until it affects these tires. I think if you want some insurance, you should go out and set your lap time right now, just in case.
Yeah, definitely. Even this makes getting held up slightly by Springbok Gamer. But
nice lap time by Nizmax, 129.4, and the Red Bulls just showing their superiority.
Let's just have a look how Josh is finding things. Because he's the last man out, and you can see the car squirming around a little bit, but still goes quicker.
And there we go. Nicely done, 129.2. And we know he's got more, because we saw in Q1, we saw the lap time he set in Q1, so he's definitely got a lot more than that.
Definitely. Yeah, this Ferrari is singing around Britain, yeah.
And Ferrari will be extremely happy with their new driver. They haven't had the best of seasons.
No, they haven't.
Currently sitting 7th in the Constructors' Championship, so not one of Ferrari's better moments.
No, definitely not. But for now, they've got one on pole, and the second is in 66. So good job, good job.
Well, 25 points could definitely maybe just bump them up that order and not make 7th look so bad.
Got Nizmax on the chat. He's asking us how we're doing, Jonathan. We're doing very well.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
I don't have to drive in the wet Silverstone.
Yeah, I'm
so
sitting here with my cup of coffee, enjoying some Formula Ones destroying the track. I love it.
Cup of coffee.
Yes, Jonathan, it is only coffee.
Big difference between a cup of coffee and a Sunday race, isn't there?
Well, it seems like everybody's in the pits except for Fossey. Yeah, he's coming in.
So everyone in the pits at the moment. Obviously just got that one last opportunity to do any tweaks to the setup.
Well, to be
Maybe
honest,
change something if you've realized the race is going to start in the wet.
To be honest, I'll be surprised if somebody else goes out, seeing as it's raining.
Doesn't look like it.
Except
with the rain, I don't think you could improve.
The bottom few drivers there maybe will take a gamble. But yeah, I can see conditions getting better. Well, obviously we don't have a radar up here, so we won't know.
Unfortunately, that technology has not graced us. So it's a bit of a guessing game. And even the report we get from the game is occasionally wrong. Track still looks dry. I don't see any spray. But surely it's going to have an effect on the tyres. Death Seeker's out on track. He's going to try and improve.
I'm going on board with him just to see how it looks like.
I can see Fossey has just put on the soft tyre. So maybe he's going to go out on the soft tyre.
Well, it's not a bad decision.
Sometimes in situations like this, you find that the harder option tyre works slightly better because it doesn't require such a hot temperature.
Yes.
So if the track is cooling, maybe the soft tyre is the best option.
Yeah, it's got a tiny bit more, bit of grip in the cold. It doesn't look easy. DRS is still enabled.
Both of our two competitors that have a quali ban have qualified for Q3. They're both well, they're in the top 5, second and fifth. So they should both be easily into Q3. I don't think that many cars are going to improve, not in these conditions. Unfortunate when that happens. I kind of prefer it when it happens in reverse. When it's a wet track that's drying and somebody gets brave, goes out on slicks, and sets a stunner. Just watching Death Seeker now going around the circuit. He's currently in 9th, he's currently safe. He's got a bit of a cushion down to 10th, about 4/10 of a second.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, loses traction there. Oh,
and 12 and 13th, they've also accepted their fate, so they've also retired. So really the only man that could improve and knock someone out of this top 10 would be the judge.
Yeah, and he's on his way out. I'll keep an eye on him. Up his teammate a tiny bit there. And yeah.
It's an important track to qualify higher up the grid. Like you said earlier, a difficult track to pass on. It's an extremely fast track, and it's not easy, and when you get into the dirty air, it becomes very difficult. So you've sort of got to get there and get past. You can't just get there and hang around because it doesn't work.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it seems like the top 3 is quite close together on low to mid 2029 there. So it'll be interesting to see, presuming it continues raining, to see what the pace is like in the wet.
Got actually another TnB competitor. He's watching on YouTube. He'll be back for season 4. We've got Raining Gaming saying hello.
Oh, yes, Cameron.
Yes, Cameron, Raining Gaming.
Yeah, no doubt he's bringing the rain with him.
Well, he'll be back for season 4 and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It will be good to have him back. Dr. Dive Bomber, as he calls himself.
That's right. It's like Daniel Ricciardo, with less talent. But moving on. Still got our debutant on pole. He's safely there, 129.2. We know he can go faster. In Q1 he set a 127.5 if I'm not mistaken, or something very close to that. So it'll be interesting Q3. For the time being, seems like everyone just sitting in the pits or has retired because they're happy with their time.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Frick, yeah. Seems like he's battling in the wet here with the dry tires. I don't think to improve is going to be, will take a mighty effort.
Mr. Raining Gaming says, correction, he is not like Daniel Ricciardo, just less talented. He is like Max Verstappen, just younger. I don't know which one is worse.
Yeah, well, at least the Red Bull team had a better race last time out. in Baku. I'm sure everybody knows what happened there.
No, definitely.
Anyway, just to cut in there, Jonathan, we've got Josh on the soft tyre.
Yeah, he did set that time on the soft tyre, so he actually improved his time.
Well, he's coming up to the line now. This is very close to his quickest.
Just not quite.
No.
Seems like everyone now retiring from the session.
Yeah, looking forward to Q3. What do you make
Q3
of?
should be interesting.
What do you make of proceedings so far, Jonathan?
So far, so good. I see we seem to have lost a little piece in the process. I don't know if he got eliminated in Q3, but hopefully we'll have him back for the race.
I actually don't know.
So far, first place, DNA. He's shown us pace, and we know he's got so much more than that. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Q3 when the guys do turn up their engines and do give it that little extra.
Definitely.
Because we all know in Q3 everyone has. Especially my co-commentator, which reminds me, why are you here? Did you just get tired of driving the Formula One car to the world title?
No, I'm trying to think about a smart comeback, but to be honest, TnB deserves to be streamed and commentated on for the drivers we got here. We've got some real talent, and it's a pleasure for me to showcase that, or give them a platform to showcase that.
No, absolutely, it's a fantastic bunch of guys. And yeah. I still get to race. I obviously race at other times, but
yeah,
this is something new for me, and I enjoy it. Well, we're just going onto screen now for Q3. The rain seems to be coming down harder.
Yes.
The tar looks darker, which means it's wet. Definitely. Should be interesting. What is this, intermediates or?
It looks intermediate, yeah. Oh, we've got guys going out on dry tires, I'm seeing. And of course we've got the two
guys are going out on dry tires, then we know what that means. It's in that middle period that no one wants to be in.
Death Seeker making, I think, a smart choice going out on the soft. Well, at least I think it's soft. Let me just put the... No, it's supers.
Well, I can confirm Nizmax and Robbie have both retired.
Yep, listening to
serving
Charlie.
Their bands. So we'll have 8 drivers competing in Q3.
Yeah, you don't want Charlie on the buzzer phoning you up saying what the hell you're doing if you're not listening.
You don't want that. It's going to make you start in the middle of a packed grid at a wet Silverstone. That should make you think twice.
Definitely.
Hearing some motors rev up here in the pits. Got some more men leaving the pits now. The nice on an outlap. DNA on an outlap.
Yep,
Death Seeker, DW. We've got Gav and Forsey all on outlap. 6 cars out of the 8. I think everybody realizes it's critical to get your lap time in now, because the lap times are just going to keep on growing. They're not going to get any shorter. The track is getting worse corner by corner.
Definitely. Not easy going. Not easy going indeed.
Definitely not. Going through these S's in this sort of conditions when you can't find the right tyre that you're happy with, it's just...
the vet going in.
But the tricky conditions are when you don't feel right on the slick tyre, but your mechanics are telling you that the intermediate's not the right tyre to go on. So
yeah,
I think that's the phase they're currently stuck in, and
we've got a couple of
don't really know what to do.
A couple of drivers coming back into the pits. clearly not happy on the slicks.
Clearly they can see that they can't get any sort of decent lap time in that sort of situation.
Yeah.
So Fossey's retired from the session. He seems to have lost it on the straight. He's in the pit wall, missing a wheel.
Yeah, and the wheel's right
Yeah,
on
he's
the
in the pit wall,
line.
missing a wheel. It's funny place to lose it. I guess you get a bit too much curb, jump on the power too hard, and pit wall.
Yeah.
Wall of Champions version 2.
Yeah, definitely, Jonathan. Yeah, no, getting traction down in that last section is hard enough, and especially if you just nick the curb too hard, it's gonna chuck you into that wall.
Watching DNA now on a lap. It's entering now the S's section.
Oh, it seems like he's keeping it nice and composed.
That's what you got to do in these sort of conditions. You just got to brake earlier, use your gears to slow down, and take it easy out of the corners.
Yeah.
It's not all about aggression, and in this sort of conditions, aggression is not going to get you a good lap time. Betsy has actually gone over the line. He set the first time of the session. It's a 1:48.0, so you can already see the huge impact of the rain. It's almost 20 seconds slower than we saw a few moments ago.
Let's see what Joe does. Josh going on
going way off track, just losing it.
Oh, it's quite
lost it in the last corner there. Managed to still beat the time, but only just.
Yeah, it would be interesting
400th of a second in it.
What I'm just following John here on the inters. It will be interesting to see what he can do on the inter tire.
I think if he sets a good time on the inters, everyone is going to react.
Yeah, we've already got a couple of drivers on the inters, so it's only the two.
Four drivers on the inters.
And set only two drivers that set the dry tire time, and it goes quickest.
Well, Jean goes fastest for the 1:45.4, and maybe that's a signal to everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
I think that will be the signal to everybody else. I think everyone who's on track will come in and throw on a set of intermediates immediately.
We've got Springbok Gamer going into the 44s.
Interesting conditions could actually lead to quite an interesting top 10.
Definitely. A little bit of a mixed bag. Like that.
Springbok Gamer currently sitting in first, and that's by 0.7 of a second. So, good gap for now. Let's see what some of the fastest runners can do when they come out on intermediates.
Follow the vet, yeah. Just starting his flying lap to go on board. The other thing is also who's going to choose to run a wet setup can also be important.
And the question is, how long is the rain going to last? Is it going to be a short stint of rain in the beginning of the race? Because then a rain setup is not worth it.
Yeah,
so you've got to really got to weigh out your options and then just hope that that forecast is correct.
The vet keeping it nice and smooth in the wet is normally quick.
So we have a yellow in the second sector. Not sure what happened there.
Oh, it's definitely not Timbo doing donuts.
Gavin also currently on an outlap, also with a set of the intermediates. The Fossey didn't set their time because obviously he retired into the pit wall, and the only other man effectively on track not to have done a lap on intermediates is DNA Joe, but I can tell you he's just put a set of intermediates on now, so he'll be coming out of the pit shortly.
Definitely. Captain Ice and the sister Ferrari.
Nicely done.
Going into the 43s.
Ferraris are doing exactly what they need to this weekend. They need to maximize points and
DW
fix the slog a little bit.
sticks in the quickest time for the time being. So we've got DW, Captain Ice and Springbok Gamer filling the top few positions there. With only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left.
Well, I can tell you that if Ferrari finished first and second in this race, they would accumulate 43 points. They've accumulated 46 points this season. So I think that puts the Constructors' Championship into context. Why Red Bull has 168 points.
Okay, let's try to see where some of the quicker guys are. But Joshua is still on the outlap here, going through Luffield. John making his way back to the pits, it seems. DW still on the quick one, opting to do a 2-run, and he's got fuel actually to do another if he chooses to. That seems like.
Nice lap time by DW for now. You'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
if you can start on pole, I think that'll be a result you'll be very happy with.
Gavin's on a quick
Just
one.
watching Captain Ice go into the pits now. This really is a long pit entry.
Oh, Gavin sneaks into pole there. By
Nicely done. Just 200ths of a second. Nothing in it at the top for the time being.
let's see if the
Watching our debutant, DNA. He's going to go over the line now and set the time. No, that was just an outlap.
He's just starting one now.
He'll be interesting to watch. He's had pace in Q3, he's had the pace in Q2. So let's see what he can do in the wet. Then match it up.
We'll keep an eye on him. It seems like Gavin's still on a quick one. DW as well. Doing well on the wheel in the wet. Still showing pace. That's good.
No, definitely. It's a very different experience, I'm sure. And it was a very quick transition. He was still on the controller last week this time. But not bad. Looking at Q3 as the standings sit at the moment, we've got Gavin first, DW in second, Captain Ice in third, Springbok Gamer in fourth, Jean is in fifth, we've got DNAJ in sixth. He's currently on a fast lap, surely he's going to improve on that time. And then we've got Det Seeker in seventh. And only the top 7 have set times. Forsey unfortunately retired. And Nismax and Robbie serving their bans.
Gavin just set up 41.8. Let's have a look at Josh to the final corner. Oh, gets a tank slapper on. Goes into P2.
Gets a bit of oversteer there, and you got to wonder if that oversteer was what cost him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been the full 0.2 of a second, but I think it would have made those lap times a hell of a lot closer.
Well, he's got another bite at the cherry.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it. Aggressive over the curves there on the left-hand side. He's definitely going for it. He's going to give it another go.
Have a look. Gavin also. Oh, he runs a bit wide, so I think he'll bail out of that one. So it's all up to Josh for the time being.
Catching him now as he goes past the old pits. Enters an important part of the racetrack, into the S's. So far, so good.
looks good. It
And
looks
he
quick.
comes out of it unscathed. Nicely done. And he's improved on his personal best by 8/10 of a second, so almost a second up. Best second sector for him. Just getting around the last corner now. He'll go over the line, and what lap time does he set? He goes fastest.
Yes.
Nicely done.
I think he
141.5.
he ran out of fuel just before the line as well. So obviously cost him a little
I
bit
thought
of
I
time.
saw something like that. There was just a bit of a dip right at the end there.
Yeah, no,
Just ran a
definitely.
squirt wide.
You can see now he's out of
But,
fuel. So just had enough. But awesome lap from the man.
So literally pushing the boundaries of the fuel there. Very nicely done. Could have turned out wrong. But either that was amazing management or great luck.
Nah, he's a very experienced league racer.
Going into the race, that seems like it's nobody else is on track, so that seems like that will be our starting grid. Gonna have the DNA Josh in first place with a great lap time, 141.5. Gab not far behind, 141.8. It's just 3/10 of a second. Then DW with a 142.5 in third place. Fourth place goes to Captain Ice. Dead Seeker in fifth. Springbok Gamer in sixth. And Jean in seventh. And those are the only men that set times. Nizmax, he got the penalty. Robbie as well. And Fossey, he didn't manage the rain
Yeah, I think the fact
as well as he would have liked.
that he went out and he crashed, that's maybe why Nizmax jumped the spot, which is quite, I won't say unfair, but yeah, it's not his doing. Anyway. So guys, you guys in the chat, let me know what you guys think. Who's gonna take this one? It's gonna be
We
interesting.
have a long race ahead of us.
Yeah, definitely. If we start on the rain.
Well, if there is anyone in the chat, it'd be great to keep us entertained.
Yeah,
It's a long race.
Some of the reserve drivers, Wesley, hoping he can make his way back soon. Can see he's
I'd
in
like to
there.
see everyone back in season 4.
Yeah,
Be great to see a full grid.
definitely, Jonathan. Well then, Jonathan. We had Silverstone.
Yeah, here we are. Round 9, Silverstone, penultimate round. And it's raining.
Yeah, this looks like
Oh, we
almost
didn't
like
need a weather
touching.
report for that.
This looks like
Well,
full
we're in
wets.
Silverstone.
Maybe I'm
Full
wrong,
wets,
but
you say?
this looks like full wets to me. I don't know. We'll have a look now.
Looks to be coming down quite hard. It will be interesting to see at the beginning of the race. I've never actually been a fan of full wets around this track. I just can't find traction anywhere.
Yeah, it's quite a toughie. A toughie in the wet, this one.
Can still do it on the intermediates, but on the full wets, here we go. Got the formation lap. Hopefully everyone remembers.
Yeah, it's well. Got Joe jumping.
Seems like Josh getting off the line there very well. You can obviously see the experience there. Everybody else just getting off tentatively. Dav Pig's been disqualified, so he'll return to the grid. And he'll have to sit there for a long, approximately 2 minutes.
It seems like everybody's on the inters. Gav stuck on the.
Be interesting to see where it goes from here. Is the rain going to get harder? Is the rain going to get softer? Are we going to end in the dry?
Well, that's what makes it fun here in the commentary box, Jonathan. We don't know.
Or does it get wet before does it get wetter before it gets dry? So it's going to be an interesting race. And obviously remember Nizmax in 8th place and RZDV in 10th. They're going to be trying to come up that order. They're fighting for the championship, and
yeah, and only with
if Josh keeps his pace up the way he has so far, the championship could just get interesting if you're if that total 25 points is not available. Springbok Gamer was disqualified, going back to the grid.
Yeah, some naughty,
Well as Jean, so we've got 3 cars sitting on the grid,
naughty
overheating.
boys.
Obviously just doing something they're not supposed to, leaving the track or making contact.
Definitely. Good to see Dead Sticker in 5th place. So far he's outperforming that Toro Rosso. Definitely.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job there. Actually, the Red Bulls would be very happy if this was a real life scenario and the Toro Rossos were constantly taking on the Red Bulls at the top of the order.
Yeah. Springbok Gamer in 6th, John in 7th. I think if I was Nizmax and Robbie, I would be worried about Springbok Gamer and Death Seeker. I think they've got enough pace to hinder them. Trying to make their way.
But Josh now lining up, taking his first grid spot there. It's probably going to sit there for a while until the whole grid is formed. Bit of a frustrating time. Got to keep your focus. And remember what the plan is into the first corner.
Definitely. We've got who is that? Is that Staffy or Timbo? Staffy and Timbo, the 2 Williams, taking their sweet time.
So we've got Little Piece, the other debutant. Will be starting in 14th.
Yeah, look. I'm pretty
so
sure
we'll also watch him. He's a fast driver. It'll be interesting to watch him come up the order. It's 4, 5 red lights and they're out and they're off.
There we go, Jonathan.
Good start by Josh.
Everybody getting a solid start. But Gavin just having a little bit of a look on the inside. Oh, we got a Toro Rosso running wide there. Death Seeker.
Toro Rosso there, it's Death Seeker. He's gone straight to the gravel.
Oh, we've got Gavin making a move. But Josh taking him back on the outside there.
Covering the move nicely. We've got Nizmax up to 6th already. So he's made up 2 places. And Robbie's up to 7th. So the 2 main championship contenders coming up the order.
Little piece
and crucially Nizmax is in front because he's 2nd in the championship. If I think if Robbie finishes ahead of Nizmax in this race, the championship could be over.
Definitely.
So
the big winner there is Little Piece jumping 6 positions. Good start.
Definitely what a start. Either that was a very good piece of skill driving or he knows just how to avoid carnage.
George is a good lad. He's quick. On his day, he's quick. And we've got Gavin. Only 4 tenths behind Josh.
Just 4 tenths behind Josh. Still holding on. Got the W in 3rd.
Ooh, Gavin going
first
a little
of the 2
bit
Reynolds.
hard. Oh dear, lost a little bit of his end plate there. Just got in a little bit too hot. The final chicane.
Losing a bit of your wing in these conditions is
that's
not what you want to do.
Already
running wide into that first corner, getting the first effects of that wing. And they're only going to become more evident when he gets to the faster part of the track, when he gets to sector 2.
Definitely.
It's not going to be fun to drive that car. When we watch DW in 3rd, it'll be interesting to watch that gap, see if it closes down, see how much that wing is affecting him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to make a big difference.
Captain Ice currently in 4th. Also going around nice and cleanly. 5th place, we've got Nizmax in the Red Bull coming up the order.
definitely. And
Right
followed
behind
by
him,
Robbie.
we've got Robbie.
Yes.
2 championship contenders, 5th and 6th, coming up the order nicely. Little Piece in 7th. So, coming from 14th,
Yeah,
very nicely done.
definitely.
Made up 7 places. Now go make up another 7. But Sean in 8th.
Yeah,
Got the judge in 9th, having a good race so far.
John ran
And
wide
Mornay makes up the top 10.
out of Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. I think he touched the grass going onto the hanger straight, and that's where Little Piece got him. When I looked at Gavin and Josh having a battle. To be fair, Gavin, he's losing time, but not as much as I thought he would. So I don't know, it looks like, yeah, he's staying out. He's going to stick with it.
You know, the end plate, the car is still drivable, but compromises do need to be made.
Yeah, I know.
And
I think he'll stick it out until the first pit stop window and then change that wing. I think stopping now would really hinder his race. So if he can keep a decent pace, he'll still be in it. Captain
lap 3 now. Long way to go.
In 4th place.
49 laps to go, and still so much can happen. What's going to happen with the weather? What's going to happen with the tyres? If it dries out, what are people going to do with the strategy? It's going to be interesting, and
definitely.
it will all unfold.
Well, Jonathan, I'm having a look at Captain Ice, and he's got Nizmax right behind him.
This match wants to get up that order. He knows he can't hang around in the middle order for too long. The leaders are opening up the gap, and he wants to get off to the back. He wants to get into the podium positions.
Captain Ice running wide there, and that promotes Nizmax.
Nizmax up into 4th.
DW in his sights now. Look, Robbie
Still
also
have all of our 15 runners, so well done to everybody. Good start, clean start.
Definitely,
And I haven't seen too much carnage, to be honest. No double stacking in the pit lane.
Definitely, and in these conditions it's quite easy to lose a win, so for everybody to get through there, well done. Robbie closing up on Captain Ice here. He doesn't want to lose sight of Nizmax there.
Just looking here at the chat on the streaming, seeing actually from Josh that he's not as strong in the wet, so could be also why Gavin is holding on to him so well with a damaged car.
I don't know.
Maybe just not a fan of the conditions.
I think he's not a fan, probably, but yeah, he's definitely not weak. He's got some pace.
I don't know many people that are a fan of the wet conditions.
Yeah, indeed, Jonathan.
Nizmax now chasing down the DW. He's brought that gap down. It was 1.7 seconds. It's now half a second. So it's falling quickly. He's on the charge.
Yep, showing some good pace.
And
yes.
If it is in fact true that Josh doesn't enjoy the wet conditions, he needs to make the most of this right now, because if it dries up, things could suddenly change.
Yeah,
Robbie
definitely.
also doing well. He's in 6th, coming up behind Captain Ice now, just 4/10 of a second. You're looking to either line up a move or just goes into the pits, does Robbie?
It doesn't look... Yeah, he's got slight wing damage. Oh dear. And it's quite an early
And
stop.
that's not what the championship leader would have wanted.
No.
Like we spoke about in qualifying, an extra pit stop here in Silverstone costs you a lot more time than it would at another track. So This is not what you want to be doing.
Definitely. With the low speed limit and the actual size of the pit lane. Yeah, it costs a lot.
Currently sitting in 12th. Staffy goes through as well. So Robbie's going to come out in 13th, it seems. 14th.
14th.
Cars
Yeah.
keep on streaming by. So Robbie will come out in 14th. And he's going to have to start again. He was doing fantastically. He was up into the top 6. But yeah, no. Still a long way to go. Get your head down. 47 laps to go.
Definitely.
So much can happen.
I see the sister Mercedes is 11 seconds behind Robbie, so Toto Wolff won't be happy. The other thing I'm noticing,
Merc not having one of their best.
The other thing I'm noticing, Jonathan, is that the rain seems like it's easing off. Definitely, it's not as hard as it was.
I don't see as much rain. Yeah, no, you're definitely right. I don't see as much rain as we did in the beginning of the race. But I'd say maybe in the next, I don't know, 10 laps,
yeah,
we could be looking at an interesting scenario.
Josh just putting in a 47 too. We've got Nismax on DW. They're having a ding dong. That's what we like to see.
Obviously, this race just became a lot more important to Nismax. He's, well, technically he's second in the championship, and 24 points behind Robbie. So Robbie currently out of the points, and whatever Nismax can get is closing that gap of 24 points going into Monaco next week.
Definitely.
Which will make for interesting reading.
Definitely. Robbie now half a second off the judge there. I'm just seeing on the graphic there.
Now right on the gearbox of the DW. Really wants to get through. DW just holding his line.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's not slow. As I used to say in previous years, the vet in the wet. It's quite solid. He's solid.
I don't care what you say, I'm still going to call him Darkwing.
I was waiting for that, Jonathan. We've got Nismax with a bit of a run in the slip. No, nothing going on there. Wait, the vet running a little bit wide.
Side by side briefly there. Thinking about it and then just backing off.
Yeah, you don't want to.
It's a long race and you've got time, but he wants to get past. He's clearly faster, and he wants to make an impression on those top two. But he needs to break through here.
Yeah, they're not far off Gavin, only 2 seconds. So I wonder if there will be some team orders once Nismax gets past the vet. Darkwing, as you call him.
So also remember that some of these guys may have a car that's completely set up for the dry.
Yeah,
and their cars will suddenly awaken when conditions change. So things could still shuffle up.
Well, just having a look further down the field, Mornay, also very, very good start from him.
Made up 5 places.
Also missed a few races, so technically reserve driver. Very good driver actually, so it's good to have him back, yeah?
It'd be great to have everyone back full time for season 4.
Definitely. Timbo, starting outside the points, he's currently in the points in P10. After gracing us with some donuts as well, so good on him.
Definitely. When you know when Timbo's at the track, I think the spectator is always going to get his money's worth.
Definitely. Yeah, no, he's a good lad.
when he drives well, and I've seen him drive well, the crowd will enjoy it. When he doesn't drive well, he'll have fun anyway, and the crowd will enjoy it. So,
yeah, he's got that X factor. Oof, Gavin, it looks like he's starting to
another
slide
real
around.
personality that we have here at TnB is Gavin. Gav Pig is his PSN. He's currently in second.
Oh, yeah, sorry to cut in there, Jonathan. We've got the judge. He had a spin. Looks like coming onto the hanger straight. He's lost a lot of his wing. Oh dear. So that promotes Robbie. Now chasing after Staffy.
Seems like Judge now limping back to the pits.
Yeah, we'll definitely stop for that one. Captain
Lost
Ice.
a lot on that left-hand side of the wing.
Captain Ice
And,
starting to get under pressure from Little Piece now. It's only 8 tenths
so far,
off.
2 men have made stops. Judge is currently making a stop. And Robbie has also made a stop. He's currently sitting in 13th, so he has made up a position. But he's got a long way to go to catch Staffy. Gaps opening up as they usually do in a wet race. Hopefully we'll have some dry conditions later on.
Seeing Josh in front, cruising away. It really reminds me of a Schumacher. Having a complete
Definitely when you
master's
see
class at the front.
when you see the red Ferrari racing around in the rain in the front, it's Schumacher.
Yeah.
That's just the image.
He's got a whole 11 seconds at the moment. Gavin with that wing damage, he's not exactly holding anybody up, but he's obviously he's losing a second a lap easily with that damage. So, yeah.
That's what it seems like at the moment. Lap ago the gap was 10 seconds, it's now 11.7, 11.8. So just losing time. If you actually watch the timing screen, as he goes through, he just loses tenths of a second. He'll just tick off. When definitely making a difference. TnB still holding on to third. He's doing a good job of it. And he's actually approaching a bit of a danger zone. He's approaching a Red Bull sandwich. And, well...
I'm pretty sure Red Bull will remember where the engines come from.
Got to get past Gavin without Nismax passing you. You've got two things to worry about.
Jonathan?
I think they'll just be on the radio and say, remember what happened to Toro Rosso? Remember the Reynolds parts crisis of 2016?
Yeah. I'm just having a look through the chats here, and Wesley reckons his girlfriend says your commentary sounds very professional, my friend. So it seems like you've got a fan out there.
Whose commentary? Mine?
Yes, indeed, my friend.
That's good. That's good. I'm always worried about my my presentation.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't joke on Twitter when I said you're going to carry me in a box like you usually do.
Oh no, I don't know about that.
We've got the vet closing in on Gavin now. I think Gavin, with that wing damage sliding around, his tyres won't last as long as the other guys. And you can see he's battling. He's battling. So good opportunity for the vet. Maybe Gain on the
like I
mistake
said a
of
lap
Gavin.
ago, it's going to be interesting now because he's going to want to get past. If Gavin's got damage, he's going to be clearly slower, and he's going to want to get past without making a mistake because
Well,
Nizmax is right there.
there's a look on the inside just to let Gavin know he is there. Yeah,
Any
no,
team orders you know about?
no, I don't. That's why I said even this Max gets past the vet. It'll be interesting to see what Gavin does, because he knows the situation in the championship. I don't know if they maybe communicated to each other, you know, different race scenarios.
And crucially for Nizmax, Robbie is still out of the points. He's in 11th.
Yeah, he's gained the position, but yeah, as you say. Well, let's go down to him. It seems like he's catching Timber quite quickly, and these two drivers have a little bit of a history, if I can remember correctly.
Oh yes, they do.
Oh,
Oh yes, they
Robbie
do.
putting in the
He
fastest
goes
lap of
around
the
and sets
race.
the fastest lap.
Yeah,
Makes a bit of a statement at the back of the circuit there. Lets everyone know that he's still there. And I think things are going to shake up. I don't see that much rain on track anymore. There's still spray,
yeah.
but
Robbie did.
I think we
Ooh,
could see the track starting to dry up. And now we start to watch how these intermediates react to a drying track. So it's interesting.
Robbie must just keep his patience, yeah. I don't know if I'm seeing a bit of lag here on my side. I don't know if you can see it. But it looked to me that Robbie lost a piece of his front wing, but he was not close to anybody. So I'm not 100% sure what
Just
happened
having a
there.
look at Robbie now. I don't see any damage. Let me just
No,
go on board.
on the right hand side, you can see there's some elements missing there. He
There is
definitely
something
lost,
missing on the right hand side. I'm on board with him now.
but
And
according, on my point of view, he wasn't close to Timbo, so unlucky there. I don't know what happened, to be honest. But we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we've got Little Piece right on Captain Ice here. Oh dear, a little bit of contact.
And as you say that there's contact,
Oh dear.
race control can confirm Monet gets a 5-second stop-go penalty, and Little Piece just trying to get back on circuit, having a messy restart, not being able to find traction, grass all over the tyres.
Yeah,
It's down
he's
to
battling.
7th.
Well,
But
seeing as
Jean having a
Monet
tough time in front of him, so he'll take that position back.
going
And
onto the supers, Jonathan, sorry to cut in there. But he's on the right tyres. Personally, I think it's a little bit too wet for it, but let's see. He'll definitely have the upper hand once the track dries out. Let's just have a look, go on board.
I just think he's a few laps too early.
Ooh, yeah, no, massive understeer
I
there.
think he's a few laps too early, and any
Yeah,
time he can gain by being on that tyre half a lap early, he's going to lose trying to get around in these conditions.
well, let's go back to DW in the Red Bull sandwich, yeah. I bet you these guys they're holding out to see if the track dries enough for them to go on the supers, or possibly even the softs, maybe even the mediums, and try and stretch a one stop. You never know, Jonathan. It'll be interesting to see though.
Can confirm Robbie's actually in the points, so he's getting back to where he needs to be.
Oh, he's got past
So the only
Timber. I don't know.
Mercedes in the points, so we've got a Red Bull currently in 2nd and in 4th, so we could see a flip in the constructors. Robbie needs to get up the order and get a lot more points for Merck than this. Currently just 2 points.
Ati also got through on Little Piece. I'm seeing I'm thinking little piece like Gavin also just waiting for that pit window to open so they can get rid of those broken wings there. And just to comment as well, Jonathan, if I sound like Darth Vader, I'm suffering a little bit of a cold, yeah. Apologies.
It's a good thing you're not sitting next to me then. In a closed commentary box.
Yeah. I don't think the flu would be the most dangerous thing, seeing if me and you get together, that the pints flow most of the time.
It's a perfect cure. But we don't talk about that here because we don't promote that here. We've got Springbok Gamer in 7th. He's still doing a good job, holding it together, going through the S's nicely. Approaching Jean, so going for 6th.
Yeah.
And tight battle there.
Nizmax, interestingly enough, still hasn't gotten past DW. DW defending like a champion. Obviously, Robbie would be quite happy with that.
I think he's having an absolute blast with that wheel.
Yeah, I can picture the smile on his face, to be honest with you. Oh, Timbo in the pits. Another 5-second stop penalty.
5-second penalty.
Ooh, the vet running a bit wide. Nizmax just had a little sniff. Trying to get a better exit out of left field. Get a run on him into cops, but no, the vet.
He wants to get past, but at the same time, he needs to be so careful. We saw what happened to Robbie when you make unnecessary pit stops for wing damage. So one extra pit stop here can really mess things up because we're not really in dry tire conditions yet. So you'd have to come back out on the intermediates and then stop again for dries.
Yeah,
Some those also on super soft. So we've got 2 drivers on the super soft tire. So they'll be our guinea pigs. We'll be watching their lap times closely. And when those lap times come down, surely everyone else will jump into the pits and react.
When they'll see those purples coming across the screen there, they'll know it's time.
Problem with that is the drivers have to have good communication in these conditions. You don't want double stacking of teammates.
Robbie left the session. Sorry, Jonathan, to cut in there, but Robbie left the session. I'm trying to see if he left or did he crash, but I don't see his car.
Yeah, it seems like he's left the session. He's ghosting around the circuit. So maybe a disconnection there. Hopefully he can get back in.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
With minimal damage.
Having a little bit of a nightmare.
Hopefully that ghost car doesn't dive into the pits as it sometimes does.
Oh yes,
that could really ruin things, and it could flip this championship.
No, it's still continuing on, so
the ghost car is continuing on, and it's actually made up a place. So,
yeah, we've got John in the pits also fitting the super soft. I think the Inters just ran out of grip, to be honest, because it's a bit soon, so it tells me it's a forced move.
Watching Little Piece now on board with him. Just going around just behind Springbok Gamer, and I don't know if it's just me, but I think the tyres do look a bit, look like they're getting a bit tired. When you look at those braking points, he's just locking up a bit too much, and the car's a bit squirmy on the exit. So
yeah, coupled with that front wing damage as well, he's driving a station wagon at the moment. Oh yeah, no,
I don't see anyone complaining that those went out of style.
Oh, we've got Robbie back in.
I can tell you that Robbie has rejoined the session. Still in 9th place, so it seems like not too much damage done. Has he rejoined? Or has he left again?
I think he rejoined. Let's just go to him. He's still
Oh, still
ghosting.
seems to be ghosting.
I think he's trying to take control of the car, so it takes a few minutes to get in properly. In the meantime, he gets overtaken by Steffi.
But DW still holding on to that third place.
Oh yes.
There's Max chasing him down, both of course on a set of intermediates, so they'll both probably have the same disadvantage of worn tyres. And I still see just enough spray to be on the intermediates.
Oh yes, definitely. It's not dry enough yet. Normally a good indicator is the DRS activation. And obviously the spray on the tyres, but yeah, it's too soon. All the guys that's jumped on the super softs are still horribly slow.
We've got three runners on the super soft, and they're running in the bottom four. So seems like Robbie has just fallen to the bottom of the table. Not quite sure what happened there.
I think more than likely than not his ghost made a pit stop. But it seems like he's back in the car now. But yeah,
Doesn't seem to be ghosting anymore, but now he's in 15th place and
he'll be
feels like
steaming under
deja
that
vu.
helmet.
Shall I say it again? Go and do it all over again. But he has just broken back into the points. So
yeah, I can see a little bit of lagging on this side, so it must be.
and that's not a pretty sight. He's unlapping himself from Staffy. So not a good race.
Well, I can tell you.
But Timber coming out on the softs, so he's trying something different. The other runners out on dry tyres are all on super soft. You've got a collision at the back. Timbo has collided. He's lost it in the first corner, coming out of the pits. Obviously wasn't sure what to expect from the tyres, got it wrong in the braking zone, went into the back of, was it Mornay, I think, and just found the gravel. Also having a difficult time of it. Seems like we've got a graphic glitch in 13th place. Timbo on screen has super softs, but on the graphic has softs.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. He won't be happy with that.
Yeah, he came out of the pits and came out just behind somebody and basically got it wrong in the braking zone. Probably just didn't know what to expect from those tyres.
Yeah, this is the part of the race where concentration has to be absolutely on it. You can see some drivers making wrong decisions, and it's tough out there. It can cost you big time. Josh, by the way, was cruising at the front, 24-second lead over Gavin, and
obviously,
Gavin is waiting.
It's a long lap here. So we're only on lap 18 out of 52. Feels like we should be at the halfway point, but we're nowhere near it. And it's definitely drying out now. But still just a hint of spray.
Yeah.
Josh doing a good job. Got that lead up to 25 seconds now. Gav going around in second. Still doing a good job, holding it together, doing what he needs to, and Timbo goes from worse to worse. Goes into the pits to fix the damage and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding.
Yeah.
So not a happy man at the back.
He's having a few choice words on that helmet there. Maybe speaking to the race engineer Jeff. Yeah, I can imagine how that conversation
now he's putting on a set of mediums and changing the nose.
Yeah,
so
he'll be
obviously wants to go to the end with those tyres. you think he could go to the end with those tyres?
Yeah, he will. He'll be lacking pace at the end, but you'll make it. Definitely make it. Oh dear, and he crosses the white line at the pit exit.
Crosses the white line, gets another 5-second penalty.
Another important thing is DW, and this makes us right behind him, so actually Gavin
Battle that's been going
stuck
on for at least 10 laps now.
Ooh, Gavin.
Brilliant defending, brilliant attacking, brilliant driving all round. There hasn't been a collision, and
keep it clean, gents. Gavin just letting Timbo know what he thinks about that, holding him up.
And now the vet coming up behind Timbo, Nizmax coming up behind the both of them. He comes around the outside, he's going to sweep around the outside, takes both of them. What a pass.
Yeah.
Something you'd expect from someone in Red Bull colours. But that was very nicely done. Took advantage of it. Saw what was happening in front of him.
Yeah, no, he took
and
his
didn't waste any time.
There. The vet will
and
be
now
a little bit upset.
sets his sights on his teammate, Gavin, just up the road. 2.3 seconds.
We've lost Timbo now as well. So we're down to 13 for the moment.
Did he leave the session or did he retire?
Let's go to him. No, he's ghosting around, so he left the session.
Hopefully we'll still see him back, but
yeah.
Not having the best race. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat this one out.
Little P still stuck behind Springbok Gamer.
Surprisingly now, looking at the graphics, everyone is on intermediate. So everyone that tried went back.
Yeah, all the guys that stuck on the slicks, they either crashed out or bottled it slightly, to be honest.
Watching Gavin now going around in second. It's running slightly wide. Gap continues to grow to first place. 28 seconds now the gap, but crucially that gap to third place, it's coming down. Just 1.7 seconds now, and soon he'll be defending from his fellow Red Bull driver.
Definitely. I'm keeping my eye on it to see if there is any team orders, because we know Gavin's got that wing damage. And now that Nizmax has passed the vet, he's showing some pace on those old tyres.
I wouldn't trust my maths at this stage, but I think if the race ended at this point, Red Bull would take the lead of the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just trying to see the amount of spray. It's obviously hasn't been raining for a good 5, 6, 7 laps. But the track's
riding on board with Nizmax, and definitely still got spray coming off those front tyres.
Yeah.
So getting into a very critical part of the race now. Because a wrong decision now could affect your result very badly.
Gavin running wide. Nizmax going through. I don't know if it looks like synchronized swimming from my end. I think he let him pass there.
It was done nicely. It wasn't a Ferrari Austria spectacle, but it may have been team orders, or maybe just Gav made a mistake. I guess we'll never know.
Well, to be honest, Gavin with the front wing damage, not do his teammate any favors by defending the position, so good on him.
It'll be interesting to watch that gap at the top now. Nizmax has been stuck behind the vet for several laps, and then he was stuck behind his teammate Gav for several laps, and now he's in clean air, and he can try and show some of that superior pace. He's already brought the gap down from 31 seconds to 29, so making an impact. And it could be interesting as we go onto the dry part of the race.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, Jonathan, definitely. But obviously, having that quali bad, fighting his way up to second, showing class.
And just keeping an eye on our other championship contender, Robbie. Had a potted race, bit of bad luck with connection, and had a collision that was very suspect, and could also come down to connection. Yeah. He's currently sitting in 12th, so doing a good job of regaining some ground, and I'm sure at this point he'll just be hoping for a healthy points finish.
Yeah, look, not even half the race is done yet, so anything can happen still. Points can still be on offer.
If the race were to end now, the championship would come down to 6 points going into Monaco.
Just having a look at our leader now, Jonathan. He's controlling the car beautifully. Keeping the pace up. He must be also wondering strategy, what he wants to do. Does he want to go for the one stop?
It's a sight so many Italians would love to see. Ferrari at the front and no competition. It's going to be interesting going into the second part of the race when things dry up. It'll be interesting if the guys have strapped on a wet setup for the race because of the conditions. Now they're going to obviously have a huge handicap when it dries up. Yeah, or if they've set up for a dry race, then they've just been struggling this whole time and the car's about to come alive. There's still a lot can happen here.
Gap stays around the 30-second mark, so they're quite close on pace, Josh and Dirk. I can tell you one thing, Jonathan, Gavin is begging for the dry. He wants to get rid of this wing.
I can tell you little pieces in the pits, currently in 8th, had some damage, changed his wing, and he's going out on super softs. So he'll be the only man on the track with slick tires, and keep an eye on that gap.
Just going on
because surely everyone else's intermediates must be
Steffi got past. Oh dear, yeah, it's still not time for drives, I can tell you that, Jonathan.
It's currently in 9th and it just doesn't seem...
That's like driving on ice.
And you can still see the track glistening. So it's still wet. Yeah. And just can't get any traction down. Every time he hits that accelerator, the car just squirms. Going through ever so cautiously now, but losing so much time.
Yeah, he just needs to keep it on
He'll be hoping it dries up extremely quickly. Almost goes into the wall there. Just misses the old pit wall. And these conditions are not conducive to pit walls, no. Apparently.
Definitely not. Well, doing half race distance on these inters, not easy. So I'm wondering if they might stick on another set of inters until it dries out. I don't know. Let's just go on with...
Surely going on to inters now, you would only have about a 5 or 6 lap period on those tyres, and then you'd have to come in and change again.
Yeah, no,
In
I'm
probably
just
one of the longest pit stops in F1. So
checking lap times. No, Josh is only 16ths off his fastest, so they still got
He's
some
not
pace.
having a good time of it at all. Just locking up there in the penultimate corner, almost losing it, and yeah, he's struggling on those super softs. I don't think anyone should be going in for those anytime soon.
Nismax coming across the start finish. He's actually quicker than he was. Yeah, sets the fastest lap on 25 lap old inters. So well then. Got the gap down to 28 seconds, so he's pushing now. That also tells me
watching Fossey now in the other Mercedes. He's actually in the points. He's in 10th. He's coming into the pits. And let's see what tyre he's putting on. He's putting on mediums. He's going for the mediums. So he's going to try go to the end of the race.
We'll keep an eye and see.
Somebody else tried the mediums. And they're back on inters.
Okay, on a little piece, it's still battling on the supers.
Fossey rolling the dice, taking the gamble.
Yeah.
And Staffy's
also in.
Gets a penalty for ignoring blue flags.
Oh, and
another one. And now speeding in the pit lane. So.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And I'm just on board with Fossey now, trying to see the reaction to these medium tyres, and it doesn't look good.
I
just don't think the time is right.
Oh, gets through there. So well done getting out of the way.
Robbie goes through. He's now the lead Mercedes. So he's in 11th. Just one place away from the points.
Steffi on the softs.
He needs to make up 16 seconds if he's going to get into the points. Crucial for the championship.
I'm sure once it's
current gap is 24 points. So as it stands, it would come down to 6. And we all know anything can happen in Monaco. You could retire on the formation lap.
Disconnect, yeah.
Even Schumacher's done it.
Yeah, true.
If I'm not mistaken, 1996, Michael Schumacher crashed on the formation lap.
Yeah, he's done it twice.
It was the year, I think it was 1996. It was the year Oliver Parnas won the Grand Prix in Aligier. But there was only 4 finishes.
Yes.
And 3 of them were on the same lap. So David Coulthard actually made the podium that day.
Yeah, I believe it was Monaco and, if I'm not mistaken, Malaysia as well, where Schumacher crashed on. It was actually in those times they still had warm-up laps before the race.
Yeah.
And he actually crashed into, I can't remember who it was, but he crashed into another car that was going slowly. Anyway, just looking at Nismax now, he's got the gap down to 23 points. 23
not
seconds,
good from race control for Gaffig. He's just got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh dear.
So that's going to affect his final result. He won't be too happy about that. It might even cost him the podium. The vet promoted up to 3rd there.
Gav putting on the softs. We'll keep our eye on him, see what
That'll
his
be
pace
interesting.
is like.
It's first of our first of our leading bunch at least. Let's go onto the dry tyre. And Gav's still only now coming out of the pits. So that just shows you how long a pit stop is here at Silverstone.
Definitely.
He's now 30 seconds behind DW. I'm going to monitor that gap, see how he's doing on the softs. Doesn't look fantastic for the time being. In the first 3 or 4 corners he's lost 3 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's
Needs
not
to get those tyres up to some sort of temperature. So it's gone up to 34, so he's lost 4 seconds here in half a lap. Springbok Gamer not far behind, just 8/10 of a second. He's on the right tyre for the conditions. He's on intermediates, so it'll be interesting to see if he makes the most of it. It's a difficult section here. He's going to make a mistake. It's probably going to be here.
keeps it nice and clean.
Got someone behind you and you go through the corners a little bit quicker than you want to on those specific tires, and a mistake is very easy to make. Josh has actually just come out on soft as well, so
I didn't even see.
Let's watch his pace, see what he can do. Critical part of the race now. Nesmac's got a 4-second lead.
Definitely, it's opening up now.
If he's on the right tyre for long enough, he's going to open that gap.
Definitely, because he's showing supreme pace on the inters for the last 5 laps now. And if he can pull a 10, 20 or 15 second gap and go on to the dry tyres, you know, he's back in contention.
In the last 5 or 6 corners, he's opened that gap by a further second. So it's definitely on track to maybe make for an interesting pit exit.
Definitely.
It just depends. It does look like it's getting dry. It's visually getting drier. I don't see any spray. Just a few droplets coming across the screen.
Oh dear, we've got Steffi. Oh
but
dear,
it's going to be critical. When is the switch? If it's going to be at the beginning of the lap, then DW, Springbok Gamer, Nismax, they're going to have to do an entire lap on that intermediate.
Steffi in the gravel on the old pit straight. Wheel off, race over. Oh dear.
And that's the end of the Williams.
Yeah, both Williams out now. Claire Williams won't be happy with that.
Neither will Frank.
No.
Williams are currently 4th in the championship with 87 points, and Reynolds is 5th on 80, so I'm sure we'll see a switch there, and Reynolds will probably take 4th place away.
Definitely, but the other thing is that puts Robbie into the points.
Robbie now into the points, he's in 10th. That's 1 point. Nismax currently in the lead. Surely that's going to change. Josh has shown superior pace. It's just now at an interesting part of the race. 2 lead drivers on 2 different sets of tyres in very peculiar conditions. Could change at any moment, and you could go from having the wrong tyre to having the right tyre, and vice versa. And your race could flip in half a lap. So critical part of the race here.
It's coming to the dry tyres now. I can see that, Jonathan.
That gap now not expanding the way it was, just sitting at 6.3 seconds. So definitely a change in conditions, coming down now 6.1. So
we've got Nismax in the pits now. Sorry to cut in there, Jonathan. Nismax is in the pits. So he's recognizing that the dry tires are starting to come into ascendancy. Be interesting to see what it comes out on.
Josh retakes the lead, and as he goes over the line, DRS is enabled. So that's usually a good confirmation that the track is dry. And a lot of drivers on intermediates, so I think we'll be seeing a lot of pit stops in the next 2 laps or so. Hopefully no double stacks.
The vet also in. I'm thinking the softs will definitely make it to the end now. Death Seeker being from last back into P7, so well done to him as well. Captain Ice.
The vet now rejoins the track in 3rd place, nicely done. And he's got a good comfortable cushion to Gavin in 4th. So at this point, top 3 look pretty stable. All 3 on softs, so same compound.
Yeah, and that's just Gavin coming in like 2-3 laps too soon, losing 10 seconds.
Oh, all the guys on intermediates, they need to get into the pits. They're losing a lot of time.
Yep,
and you can see the graphic changing there as guys dive into the pits, left, right and centre. It'll be interesting to see what the positions look like when all is said and done.
Captain Ice.
I can tell you that the top 5 have all pitted, they're all on softs. And I think you could finish the race from here on softs. Fastest lap.
No, definitely.
Josh going through in a 1:43.3.
Yeah,
track not at ultimate conditions just yet. Still a slow lap.
No,
we'll see those lap times coming down.
I think
very
anything
abruptly
from a 1:43 quicker than that's definitely dry tyre time. Judging from qualifying pace. And remember, they still got some fuel on board here, so yeah, definitely time for dries. Who's that? Josh is stuck behind one of the runners there.
Gavin's just gone over and set the fastest lap, a 1:42.0. He's in 4th place, still interested in the podium, still pushing. Not going to settle for 4th.
No, definitely not. He will be looking to make an impression on DW, get that podium position back.
Springbok Gamer, he's in 6th. He's currently on the super soft.
I'm seeing
that. It'll be interesting to see how the conditions play out for the different compounds. In the current conditions right now, I'd probably say the medium is probably the best tyre because of the track condition. The track temperature being so low, the medium tyre will operate a lot better.
That's possible.
It just depends how dry is it going to get. Are we going to have blue skies by the end of this?
I think in the last, let's say 8 to 5 laps, there'll be the superior tyre as well. Depending on when Death Seeker pitted and the judge as well, depending on the age of those mediums, they could pick up pace later on in the race.
That's a 1:40.7 for Nizmax. That's a great lap time. And just keeping an eye on that gap between 1st and 2nd. Nizmax still doing a fantastic job holding on. 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was 23.
And he'll be looking to close that.
He's been closing, well, 3 seconds now.
Nicely done, a 1:40.4, the purple laps.
Yep, it's coming down now, the times are tumbling.
The rain has stopped falling, but the laps have started falling. And that's what we want to see.
Seen getting some information through here, TnB saying that he disconnected. Apologizes.
That's unfortunate.
Definitely.
But I don't think there's a driver in this lobby that can say that's never happened to them. And I know 1 or 2 that it's happened to too many times.
Yep.
Watching Springbok Gamer on board with him, going through the first corner in the Haas, doing a good job. Also on a set of super softs.
Josh going quicker again. 38.7. And the guy's just trading fastest laps now. Little piece, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Obviously corner
That
cutting.
can only be for corner cutting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nizmak's going fastest with a 1:38.0. Lap time's really dropping off dramatically now, but if you look at that gap at the front, it's still 20 seconds, so Josh is just about matching him.
Yeah, very close on pace.
If he's getting fastest lap, I don't think Josh is much slower. 1:37.6 for Gav.
Oof, cutting the corner there a little bit.
The guys are now finally starting to enjoy their cars.
Yeah.
In the rain, it's not so much of having fun, it's more about not messing up. The stressful experience. Now you can just go out, there's a lot of gaps, a lot of clean air, open up and see what the car can do. Captain Ice also having a good race.
Yeah, excellent.
So good points for Ferrari. They'll be happy with that. One of the better performances of the season. Evans in 4th place. Robbie goes fastest with a 1:36.3. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Takes another second off the previous purple lap, so they're coming down in droves. And he's currently in 10th, so still just that one championship point. Surely he's going to want to get up the order. Let's say he'd want to be in the top 5.
Yeah, the interesting thing to see is if Little Piece and Springbok Gamer can get to the end on those supers. I've got a feeling they have to stop again. So
I think they do have to stop again, because when they stopped it was about 22 laps to go.
So they can also still come into play there for Robbie.
Also, another thing you must remember is the conditions are not optimum. So you may be wearing your tyres out faster than in usual conditions on a dry track where everything is fine.
Yeah.
You may be out braking yourself and just going through that set of tyres a little bit faster than you'd want to.
Definitely.
Just going through the cars now, trying to see if there's any battles on track.
No,
nothing that I can spot.
Pretty spread out at the moment.
I don't spot any battles.
Yeah, I'm betting Nizmax wished he started on the front row of this one. He would have had a mega battle with Josh.
With Josh now just going through some traffic. Going past Springbok Gamer, no issues there, pulls to the left. Easy as you like. Nicely done. It's also helpful when that car catches you at the right part of the track.
Definitely.
It catches you in the S's when you're going full throttle and you're supposed to get off your line suddenly. Things get unpleasant quite quickly.
Yep.
Just having an effortless race here at the front. Just consistent, clean, just enough curb.
Yep. And he told me earlier today this will be his first 100% race distance. He's doing very well, keeping the pace up.
Doing a fantastic job. We've spoken about the second half of the race being the real tester, and I think today it's more of a test than ever, because these guys have done 30 odd laps on a wet circuit, and now you've got to readjust to a dry circuit, and everything feels different, and mistakes can be made. So fastest lap there, 1:33.152. So Josh just getting the fastest lap. Crucially, that gap stays at 20 seconds, so they're matching each other.
definitely.
I think this
Pound
would
for
have been
pound.
very interesting if Nismax had been on the front row.
Definitely. And as we say that Nismax goes purple. The 32.7.
Just switching having turns now with the fastest lap. As a famous German driver would say, ping pong.
Yeah, I guess he was talking about a different kind of ping pong.
Yeah.
Anyway, the vet being caught by Gavin now. The gap was 11 seconds, is now down to 5.2, so hopefully in the next few laps we'll get a battle at least, Jonathan.
Vet still holding on to that third place. Gap's down to 5 seconds. We've got Captain Ice. We're doing a good job. Holding it together in fifth. Needs to bring that position home for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Springbok Gamer, he's in sixth in the first of the Haas drivers. He's on super soft. Will he have to stop again? Everything points to yes. It'll be interesting to see how he manages his tyres.
Yeah,
But
I think.
Seeker in seventh, he's in a strong position because he's on mediums.
Yeah, he'll
So
definitely make
if
the end.
Springbok Gamer does have to stop, he could snatch that sixth place. But Little Piece in eighth, similar scenario, also on super softs, and everything's pointing to the fact that he's probably going to have to stop again. And he's followed by Judge, also on a set of mediums. So those two positions may change.
Yeah.
And now Robbie just 5 seconds
Off the judge.
off the gearbox of the Judge. So you'll be looking at ninth place.
Yeah, and he was 17
Every
seconds.
championship point is going to be so important at this stage. Nismax is in second, and that's 18 points.
Yeah. He was 17 seconds behind, and there's only 5 now in the space of a few laps, so he's also showing some enormous pace.
So having a look now at the Judge, you'll be also maintaining that fuel. You know, it's on the 100% race distance, the fuel can catch you out.
Yeah,
If you don't manage the fuel in the first couple of laps, you can look down at your fuel with 20 laps to go and get quite a shock.
Yeah.
And so he needs to manage that.
So having a look at John as well. Also his first 100% race distance, doing a good job in 11th.
Doing a good job in 11th, just one position away from the points.
Yeah.
So anything could happen, and you could still finish in the points, which I think would be a fantastic result.
I'll be honest, Jonathan, I'll be happy if the Force India can score some points.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite cars as well.
Fossey in P12 made a wrong decision at the pit stop window that cost him massively. Let's go back. I see Robbie really close to the Judge now, going through Maggots and Beckett's. Coming onto the hanger straight, having DRS gaining quite quickly.
Making up a lot of ground. Will he go in here? Not just yet. Gets close. Gets a better acceleration out of the corner.
I was thinking
Not
about
yet.
diving onto the inside there, but thought better
But
of
you
it.
did just see the thought as the car just pulled out to the left briefly. And
Yeah, I was
he just
holding
said,
my breath
nah,
there.
not quite yet. I've seen enough of my mechanics.
Yeah.
I like my wing. Pretty soon he'd have to start borrowing from Fossey.
Yeah. Oh dear, we've got a little piece. Oh, it's car's upside down, Jonathan. Yeah. Oh dear.
That's right. That's
That's a
a
massive chunk. I can't make out
he's
quite where that is.
he's well, from what I can make of it, the image is upside down, and the car is laying below the grass.
Well,
So
Jonathan,
he's officially out of the
most
game.
importantly, there's an ambulance in the background, so medical.
Stab him out, and I'll see him in season 4.
Yeah, no,
So he showed a
definitely.
good pace. Just
Great,
obviously made a mistake there at the end. It's pity we missed it.
yeah, great
Must have
start.
been something interesting.
Great start there from Little Piece. Mega start,
Starting
jumping
in
six.
14th.
Oof, we've got Robbie that
And
just passed the judge there. A good
now every
move
time
there.
someone retires, Robbie gains a point.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
So
he gained two now.
that championship gap is not yet decided. Still 12 laps to go. From here on in, it's basically a sprint race. And anything amazing, and
Yeah,
anyone make a mistake. There's
definitely.
a good battle coming up there.
Gavin, yeah.
That for third? Yes, Gavin coming up on the gearbox of DW. And they'll both be hungry for that final podium position after such a trying race.
He's in DRS zone.
She's gaining ground there in the braking point.
Yeah, but we know
Be interesting on the exit. See who gets the better exit.
DW is no stranger from defending from a Red Bull.
It seems like DW is getting the better exits, and Gav is later on the brakes.
Yeah.
He gains on him into the corner and then loses most of that time coming out of the corner.
Definitely.
So
the vet running a tiny bit wide going onto the hanger straight, so that will compromise him. And then obviously
multiple warnings for Dead Seeker. 3-second time penalty for him. That'll be added at the end of the race. So he's got to just keep that in mind.
Ooh, Gavin dive bombing on the inside. There's a little bit of contact.
Hand gesture there from the vet, just asking, what is that all about? Oh, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. And for YouTube, that's what he said.
Well, luckily it doesn't look like there's any damage, thankfully. Yeah,
I'm going around with Gav now. I don't see any damage on the front wing. Everything looks intact.
The vet
and
ran
that's
wide.
good.
The vet ran wide out of Stoke corner, so he had a better run going into that chicane. But yeah, it just came from too far back actually.
I was actually on board with the vet when that happened, and I just saw the end plate of the Red Bull just peaking on the left hand side there, and the vet's hand gesture coming up. So front row seats for that one. Coming up now. And they're approaching what seems to be a bit of traffic, so can Gav make the most of it as his teammate did earlier on in the race?
Ooh, he's
seems like
pulling
he's got
up on the
side by
side.
side, he's got the superior traction.
He's got the DRS going. The vet not giving up. Going late on the brakes, but ultimately can't hold on there.
And Gavin takes third for now, and gets himself on the podium.
Well,
and confirms Jean is actually in the points. He's in 10th. He's been promoted by the retirement of Little Piece. So if you can hold it together.
Yes. Well, John is
first 100% race distance, finish in the points, not bad. And for Josh, win your first 100% race distance. Well, I don't want to give anyone a commentator's curse.
Yes, definitely.
But things are looking good.
Well, 10 laps to go. It is looking good, and that gap at the front stretching to 26. So I think Nismax is settled for second place. I'm just keeping here with the vet, seeing if he can hold on to Gavin. He's still in that DRS zone.
Barely there in the 9/10 of a second. So it's going to be critical that he stays in that zone. Just dropping out of it briefly, he'll want to get back into the DRS zone because
no, they passed the detection
really
zone already, so
it's really the only way to pass, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't
Unless someone makes a mistake.
It's also a little bit narrow on fuel, I see. Gavin also. See Josh also.
Gavin also running it close on fuel. And well, Josh.
The top four of them, yeah, he's running on lean now currently. But he should be safe to finish the race. It shouldn't be an issue.
But the gap 25 seconds, so you could finish this on lean. All good fuel management by all the guys. Don't see anyone in the negatives. So yeah, no one in the negatives. Everyone doing a good job.
Well, Ati doing a fantastic job on those supers, keeping them alive. Still 8 laps to go, but he should be able to finish from here.
Love to know if they've got another 8 laps in them. You know that when the tyres go at this track, I find in my experience that it becomes pretty undrivable pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parts of this track that just require that grip. And if it's not all there, you can't drive the car the way it's meant to be driven.
Well, normally it's the front left that takes all the punishment. So
I don't think he would stop now. He's got a 38-second lead, which he could lose in the pits, but I don't think he could lose it on track. So
no, I'm just thinking puncher-wise, Jonathan. You know, if a tire is going to go, it will be the front left. So he needs to look after that specific one.
We do know the front left here in Silverstone, it takes a beating. I actually went around here the other day, and at some point in the race I had a look at my tire status, and my front left was 22% higher than any other tire.
Yes.
So that front left does take a beating, and you can already see a line forming on Ati's tire there. Actually, if you look on the front left,
yeah,
the outside looking a bit rougher than the inside, and
oh yeah, look how he's backing out there in Cops Corner. So he's trying to
he's trying to save that tire.
He's managing.
Take the load off it.
So we'll keep an eye on that.
The last thing he wants is a puncture. So he's maintaining the gap to Dead Seeker, still 37 seconds, so no changes there.
I'll be having
the only running Reynolds in 4th place. EW doing a good job. Got the Red Bulls having this will be a good result for the Red Bulls. 2nd and 3rd. Very good points. Just 16 points or 18 points in the constructors. So
yep.
And Robbie crucially up to 8th. So for getting some points.
Yes, indeed. It was at a stage it looked like a little bit higher scoring points. The poor guy had an interesting race with wing damage and disconnects, so he's gonna be mentally drained after this one, I can tell you that much, Jonathan.
I think he did quite an eventful race, and finishing in the points is not a bad result, but
no, well done.
I think he would have liked to finish a little higher, But considering the circumstances, plus the fact that he started in 10th, not a bad drive at all. Just a victim of the conditions.
I can tell you what, the vet is not giving up on catching Gavin. He's pushing.
Once that podium place for Reynolds, and he's got a bit of a situation at the moment. He's actually got Judge and Springbok Gamer in between him and Gavin. So
the two horses.
that gap now got a chance to extend, and Gav can just maybe build a cushion, some breathing space. He's got to get past them. Gets past the first one, but one horse to go.
Yeah,
Judge actually got a blue flag for ignoring got a penalty, sorry, for ignoring the blue flags. So, and Ati gets out of the way on the straight.
Straight away, yeah.
And the vet finally released, but that cost him about a second.
Fricky was...
Gap was about 2, now it's almost 3. It is 3.
Fricky was caught in a spot there because he's been lapped by his teammate, but he's obviously quicker than Ati, so... Yeah, a tough spot to be
also
in.
I've been in a similar situation where you don't want to...
Sorry, Jonathan.
You don't want to unlap the car because you'll probably frustrate the driver.
We've got Fossey in the barriers, yeah. Can't make out exactly where that is, but we've got a Mercedes off into the barriers right in front of some Italian fans.
Just trying to see where that is. If I'm not mistaken, that's at the first corner.
It looks like it, yeah.
If you just look at the rear view, I think that's the pit exit. So, just going around that first corner and just... unfortunately we missed it, we didn't see what happened. But that's one Merc out.
Yep.
Wasn't in the points. So, not a good day for the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes-Benz.
Definitely.
Red Bull will be smiling.
I can tell you another small little battle starting to form here that's catching my eye. John is a lot quicker than the Judge. And he's only 6 seconds behind, so you never know. Being on the
obviously got that soft. It'll be interesting to see at the end of the race if that makes a difference, being on the medium. If that's going to be his saving grace.
We've got that gap
also on the medium.
Under 5 seconds now, so he's catching quickly. He's catching rapidly.
Well, you follow that. I'm just going to have a look here and see if I can get any idea of penalties. Oh wow.
I presume there's a whole list of it.
This is going to be incredibly difficult to work out at this late hour on a Friday night. I don't think my brain could handle it.
No, we'll wait for the stewards to work that one out. Surely gonna punch some calculators sooner rather than later.
So far from what I've seen, Death Seeker's got... It's not too complicated. From what I've seen, who's going to have time added to the end of their race, I think it's only Death Seeker.
Okay.
And out of the runners, basically. The other guys that had penalties have retired. So it doesn't really affect. The one that had the most was actually Fossey. He had 3 second penalties. 9 seconds, but he's retired, so makes no difference now. 3 laps to go. Up at the front, 28 seconds. Ferrari managing this race from beginning to end. Not having a lot of issues, doing a good job. Nismax in second. Had a fantastic race. It's come up from 8th place, started in 8th, and difference between him and Robbie's race is he managed to keep that front wing away from things, and he's had a good result. Finished while he's in second, but Gavin in third, still holding on to that final podium position. And I don't think the vet's given up on it quite yet. Gap sitting at 6 seconds, so I think Gav would have to make a mistake, to be honest.
Yeah. The other thing
But
is
the other Ferrari in fifth, Captain Ice, holding it together well. It's on a set of softs, so he's got the same strategy as all the cars in front of him. Springbok Gamer 6th, super soft. You'll be managing that front left, I'm sure. Definitely the graining on that tyre, I'm on board with him now, and the graining on that tyre is visually worse. But Death Seeker,
Fossey's car
35 seconds. Still there.
Yeah, it's still causing the yellow flag there. Sorry, Jonathan.
Well, it's probably a good thing we have safety car switched off.
Yeah.
Because this is the sort of thing that, well, who knows, safety car, 3 laps to go, could have been interesting. Watching Jean now, going around in 10th.
Yeah, he's quite
doing
close
a good job holding on to that final point. Done a good job to get this far, so just get it to the end, keep it clean, and you'll have your first TnB point.
Yeah.
Not bad. I think it took me 3 races to get that. And that was because a lot of people retired. Oh well, I think my commentary might be better than my driving.
Don't sell yourself too short. Be quick on your day
I'm
when you
working
have
on
to.
it. 2 laps to go now, we're on lap 50. Everyone's done a great job. We've only had 3 actual retirements, and then 2 guys obviously retired because of collisions, because of connections. So just the 3 retirements due to mistakes. Guys doing a good job.
John within 8 tenths now of the judge. Oh, he's actually passing
And
him.
he's actually just passed him. He actually just passed him. He swept through on the inside, I think. That's what it looked like. I just got the end of it, but I didn't see the pass happening. But that's what I think happened. Just judging by what I
thought for a
where the cars
second
landed on.
Ricky had a punch or something, but he doesn't. I think he must have just made a mistake.
Gonna ride on board for a second here with Springbok Gamer. Just want to have a look at that front left again. Just got the 1 lap to go. Locks up.
Yeah, you can see that tire
Locked up there, and he probably just cringed a little. And every time he turns right, you just see that the blisters on the outside of that tire, they light up.
Yeah. That tire has passed its due date, definitely.
But now going around in 4th, that gap, it's gone up from 6 seconds to 9 seconds. I don't know if he made a mistake or if he's just settled for 4th.
Yeah, I think he's settled. He looks like he's trying to save some fuel.
But Gavin in 3rd. His fuel situation is slightly better, so I don't think he needs to worry about too much.
Yeah,
There's Max going around 2nd.
I think what cost Gavin was that front wing damage in the first stint. That really hurt him. It's reminiscent of USA. He had the same problem. Got wing damage on the first lap. And then the whole stint with front wing damage.
just riding on board now with the leader on lap 52 of 52. He's done a fantastic job. He's qualified on pole, led the race from beginning to end, except for when Max took the lead in the pit stops briefly. And he's managed everything well. He just needs to manage these final few corners.
It's been a supreme
Left,
drive.
right, and around the final bend and over the line. Sets the fastest lap, 130.1.
Yeah, that's class.
Just to stamp his authority on proceedings. And it was a great performance, great first win. And,
supreme drive.
I can tell you that the judge has just been disqualified on the final lap of the race. That's going to be unfortunate. He's not going to pick up any points for driving the wrong way.
Pointing the wrong way. Yeah, he actually had a spin as I was on board with Josh, and Flicky was in front of him, and he was pointing in the wrong direction. So I don't know what happened there.
While we were talking about that, Max goes over the line in second. Did a great job.
Yeah, starting at the back.
Bit of a celebration there over the line, coming almost to a standstill. Gavin goes over the line in third, so it is a 2-3 for Red Bull. Now just waiting for the vet. Final corner, 4th place confirmed.
Yeah, well done.
And nicely done.
First race, or first 100% race distance on the wheel, went down well.
Captain Ice still going around, but his race is over because he's a lap behind. And that's that.
Ferrari having a good day out.
It's going to be good to see 2 Red Bulls on the podium.
Indeed.
Means they didn't crash into each other before they got to the checkered flag.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing.
He'll be happy with that.
And then the Ferrari taking up the top step.
Well done to the race winner, Josh. South African born, living in the UK now. Very quick driver indeed. Yeah, as the guys celebrate the podium.
And nicely done, and we hope to see him in many more events.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, just running through the top 10. We've got Josh on debut winning in the Ferrari, picking up 25 points. Max finishing second, picking up 18 points, crucially for the championship. Gavin third, 15 points. So that's going to be a good round of points. There's 33 points for Red Bull.
Yeah.
The vet finishing fourth for Reynolds. Captain Ice in the second Ferrari. Springbok Gamer in the Haas. Robbie in the Merc. Crucially picking up 6 points at the end of the day. Death Seeker Toro Rosso. And that's as far as I got.
And John just behind him.
Thank you everybody for joining us. And we'll be back same time next week. Monaco for the finale. Wazzy, always a pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure is all mine, Jonathan. We'll catch you next week in Monaco at night, nonetheless.
Next week, tune in.
Cheers. Net vas manne, ek het vergeet hoe om